Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 19 of What If Naruto Was Born in the Uzumaki clan. Remember to get this one to 200 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was Yosuke King and enjoy that guys. And over on Anime King 2, I post a new episode of What If Naruto pushed himself to his limit. So go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So without further ado, what do you so begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So the last time we left off the meeting was to happen. Naruto Sen is Zetsu's all around the island. So they hid in the shores and underground, ready to intercept the enemy if there was any other coming. As he told Yaiko that he was going to lead the fight with the 3,000 strong ninjas to destroy Kumo, as he believed in him, as both of them shared a hug. As Naruto told his personal Zetsu that if he fall in battle or anything, Yaiko is to be the leader of the Akatsuki, as Zetsu nodded. With that, Naruto and his group headed off. Time passed as they finally arrived. Naruto was wary of the situation, as Jiraiya was talking to Tsunade, and he asked her, despite everything the boy did kill Kagami and many other Konoha ninja, was he just gonna be pardoned for his crimes? As Tsunade said that she wanted peace, Jiraiya told her that if she betrayed them, he would have to kill her, as that made her feel grim. But she told him to do what he must. It was then they saw Kiri and Konoha ships coming towards the island. Thousands upon thousands of ninjas coming. Naruto rallied up the white Zetsus. The 3,000 white Zetsus came from underground, as Jiraiya rushed over towards the ships, looking at Tsunade one last time, as she knew that he had a duty to Konoha no matter what. It was then that the war started, as clashes went on. Orochimaru had a seal as he made Kushina go wild, transforming as she started to destroy the enemy forces. As they were able to place her in a barrier though, the rest of the Uzumakis that were there, as ghosts attacked Orochimaru, but Orochimaru was able to damage the dog badly. Naruto was using their fears, as he was looking like he was doing the Hiraishin, because he was using their fears, but Orochimaru quickly realized that. As many of the Kiri ninjas started to retreat, the cowards Orochimaru cursed, as Naruto delivered a bone-crushing punch to him that sent him sailing away. As Orochimaru then saw Sakumo as he called out to him, Sakumo came over wanting revenge for his son Kakashi. As him and Naruto started a battle, Sakumo blade was able to rip through Naruto, causing him tremendous pain as blood, gore, everything leaked everywhere. The both of them clashed violently, as Sakumo summoned a large 3-headed dog, but Naruto was able to bend the dog will to his command, as he got full control of the dog, able to see out of the dog's eyes. Sakumo was shocked as he couldn't even react in time as the dog started ripping to pieces. As Naruto released the dog had a shameful look on his face as he just vanished. As Naruto rushed over to stop them from taking away his mother. In his weakened state, he was stabbed by Orochimaru brutally as he collapsed down to the ground. As he saw his mother being dragged onto the ship as she was held by Kushina tightly. Before Orochimaru could finish Naruto off though, Arima came there and lit Orochimaru up with the flames and kicked him away, as Orochimaru started to burn. As Naruto collapsed down coughing up blood, realizing this was all his fault. As Arima told him to stand up, and he need to continue on leading and fighting, and do not fall. The last thing Naruto saw was a golden blur over to the side. A week passed after that, as Danzo has become the Hokage of Konoha. As Jiraiya was there, Danzo wanted to use Tsunade. Seeing that she was a Senju, he was going to use her to birth many more Senjus before killing her. And he now had the Jinchuriki back in his possession. Despite everything, Konoha was still in a war, and Jiraiya was loyal to Konoha, so therefore he has to be loyal to the Hokage. Orochimaru was still alive as he was in a fight between death and living, but he was still alive nonetheless. As Danzo told Jiraiya, if he wants Tsunade to live, then you'll have to follow him and do whatever he say, no matter the cost, and you will let her live. Jiraiya just nodded in confirmation, as Danzo then sent him out to complete his rest of his goals. For what the world knew right now, Naruto Uzumaki was dead and no more. Akainu was running on her white horse. They got the news some time ago as they heard the rumors that he was dead. But hearing that Kushina Uzumaki was pulled to Konoha in chains, she now knew Naruto Uzumaki, her best friend, the one that she grew up with, the one that she loved, was really dead. That was basically the last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. Naruto was dead. That was on Akino's mind. She knew her childhood love would never let Kushina be taken unless he was dead. She had lost him. She really lost him. And now she knew she was on the verge of losing another close to her heart. Nagato stopped, she screamed, as he was ahead of her on his horse. As she rode faster, going up towards him, Nagato took the news even worse, as he was going towards Konoha. He had not uttered a word since he heard, but he had a murderous look in his eyes. He was about to do something reckless, and she couldn't allow that. She didn't want to lose him either. And with all that rage, he was on his way to his own death. And she had to stop him. She couldn't lose her only other friend to his madness. The gods must have heard her desperate prayers, as the horse foot got stuck in a pothole, making it crash. She halted her own horse and got back down. As Nagato was already on his feet, she jumped on him as she held him, but he was slashing her around dangerously. He even tried to punch her, trying to headbutt her, but she clutched onto him tight. He kicked and cursed at her. Kind, gentle Nagato, who always protect and look after his friends, was warning her that he would kill her if she didn't let him go, but she held on tight. His attacks became weaker and weaker, until they were nothing more than a wounded child's blow, as he slumped down and gave an agonizing scream that made her heart feel like he was being ripped to shreds. He cried like someone who had lost everything, and she knew how much Nagato loved and respected Naruto, how much he believed in Naruto's dream. And now he was gone. She felt broken herself, but she had to be strong. She had to stop Nagato from doing anything reckless. She had to protect him, worse after that Akatsuki member has delivered Naruto's last orders for them. She finally managed to get him to calm down, as he had a look of pain and suffering for the ones who had killed his friend. And she made him walk over to a tree. Sitting under, she pulled out a scroll and gave it to him. It had Naruto's seal on it. She pulled her blade as she placed it on his shoulder. Nagato Uzumaki, she said, under order of Lord 4th Naruto Uzumaki, I hereby name you as Lord 5th, Protector of Ozu. As tears were in her eyes as she said that. The last words that Naruto wrote on that note, protect our people, young wolf. As Akainu looked into his eyes, she saw no more compassion, nothing, but pure rage and anger burning in his eyes. Moments later, Salamander watched as hundreds, thousands of warriors kneel before the young wolf. The 5th Uzukage, as Nagato Uzumaki just stood there, as he assured Hanzo that their alliance would remain intact. Yet the boy was marching towards Konoha with the 2,000 strong Akatsuki members behind him. Hanzo had accepted Nagato's resignation of a Rain Ninja with Naruto dead. Hanzo have to accept that Nagato was a leader now. It's all falling apart, said Galatea sadly. Naruto Uzumaki was a magnet, holding everything together. With him dead, I doubt we will receive much help from our alliances. Despite Nagato's reassurances, he may be the new Uzukage, but he's just as hot-headed and bloodthirsty like his clan. No matter the size of his army, if he goes there now, he will get butchered. I don't believe Naruto is dead, said Hanzo. Mifune and Galatea turned towards him, but until I see his body, I will never believe it. Send a messenger towards Castle Storm. until I see proof. This ninja world is full of corrupt misinformation and lies. So until I see full proof, I will not believe it. At once, said Galtia. As Hanzo looked forward, Danzo Shimura is a monster and worked great at battle strategy and is a great commander. That is why Mifune, you should go with them. As Mifune turned, what was their leader talking about? The Hidden Stone was going to go to war with them. Does he really want him to abandon them right now? Like it or not, we need the Akatsuki strength, said Hanzo, an army who was a sworn loyalty to Nagato. Our greatest mistake was leaving Naruto alone, and it nearly cost everything. You must not let the young wolf get killed. Help him get some blood, satisfy his revenge, but you must get him back in time of the stone strike. Do you understand, Mifune? Asked Hanzo seriously. Mifune looked over at Nagato for a long moment, not saying anything. The samurai leaders actually started to like Naruto Uzumaki after he became Lord Fort, because he developed into an honorable shinobi who wanted peace. But now this treacherous, corrupted world had changed him, and had broke his friends upon his death. And as stubborn as he didn't want to admit it, he had grown fond of these Uzumakis. They put family above everything else. They were honorable, they were loyal. Even the children that were here, they were angry upon hearing Naruto's death. They had not forgotten the boy who had risked his life and sacrificed everything to bring them to the reign. To discover that he was killed had broken what little innocence that were left in them. And now all of them were kneeling in front of Nagato, ready. They were all ready to avenge their fallen leader. He couldn't let them all fall. As he turned towards Hanzo, I'll protect them, he said. If not for anything else but the honorable Lord Fort, who had lost his life doing the right thing. Hanzo would have said something, but a messenger burst into the chambers with a panic look on his face. Hanzo took the scroll and read the message, if possible for the first time. Mifune saw his leader unnerved. As Hanzo gave him the scroll, Hanzo had a worried look on his face as Mifune read it. Mifune's eyes went wide. Konoha's entire army and that of the Fire Daimyo are marching towards us. They will be here within a week. Konoha had thousands of veteran shinobi, and combined that with the daimyo's troops. An invasion, Hanzo said. Mifune was about to speak, but a crow came inside. As Hanzo raised his hand, it was a crow that they gave, Kiyasuke, for communication. Hanzo took the scroll from the crow, as his face went pale like a ghost. The Hidden Stone has launched their invasion. Their armies have already started to attack Taki and the grass. Those small villages would fall in days. The Hidden Rain is next, Hanzo said with a grave look on his face. Mifune took a step back, unable to control the shock. Two great nations attacking smaller villages at the same time with their full might. Hanzo felt fear. Fear that he hadn't felt in a long time for his small village. They have united. As crazy as it sounds, Konoha and the Hidden Stone. If Taki and the grass fall, then they will increase their power. They might hate each other and war again in the future, but for now, they are out for our blood, and they will take the sand down as well. If only Naruto Uzumaki was here, muttered the messenger silently, but Hanzo heard him. He's not. Outnumbered or not, we will defend the Hidden Rain to the last man. Mifune, take Nagato and the Akatsuki forces to battle against Konoha forces. I shall take command of our village ninjas and samurais and head north to face off against Hidden Stone, said Hanzo. Will it be enough, old friend? Asked Mifune. No, said Hanzo. He has never shied away from the truth, and he would not start now. He never thought that things were going to turn out this way. He had underestimated Danzo Shimura. The old lion had waited for this opportunity all his life. Prepare the man. We march for war. Meanwhile, Konan stumbled, the scroll falling from her hands. As she finished reading the heartbreaking news from Uzu, he couldn't be dead. Oh, no, he couldn't. Yet the message said that it was true. Lord Fort had fallen in battle against Konoha leaders. He was betrayed and killed. She remembered from loathing him to respecting him, from being disinterested to want to protect him and help him. She remembered his dreams, the way he smiled when he mentioned those dreams, the way he cared for the ones he loved, the way he believed in her and all of his friends. Daibatsu watched as a murderer gaze came in Konan's eyes. He had already completed his mission of burning Kobe to the ground. From there, he pushed forward the other Akatsuki spies to burn another village of Kumo. The lightning daimyo tell everyone to go to Kobe, but by the time they got there, Daibatsu was already gone, long gone. Dode has done well in protecting the wealth city of the capital. For the past week, Konan has tried their best, but everything had met with failure. Worse, they received news that Kumo's entire army was hours away from here. If they came here, they would never complete their mission. Even grave was the news of Naruto's death, and no one knew where Yaiko was with the army under his command. Everything was falling apart. It was chaos with tragedy. I have to go back to Castle Storm to see for myself, said Konan in a trembling voice. But the mission, said Daibatsu, as he got a cold glare from her. I will destroy Sasebo and go back tonight, she said. You will take command of the rest of our forces and destroy the next city before going towards the Lightning Daimyo capital. But Naruto we are at war, Daibatsu. There is no going back now. Mika, the Akatsuki, forced leader stepped in the room as he was already outside waiting. You know what to do. We strike at night and end this all, she said. Are you sure, Commander? Mika asked. Konan nodded without hesitation as Mika went off. As Daibatsu saw the look in her eyes, he knew what she was about to do. Konan, no, he said, as tears, faint tears were in her eyes. I have already lost 700 soldiers trying to take this city. I will not wait here until the rest of Kumo army appear and slaughter us all. Naruto could still be alive, stranded on that goddamn island, dead or alive. I will bring him home. But, said Daibatsu, but she cut him off. I know what I am doing, Daibatsu. I know what it will cost me, but I cannot back down for all four sakes. Naruto tried to do the right and honorable thing, but look where that got him, she said, angrily. Daibatsu had no answer. He was surprised that Naruto actually went to listen to Konoha, but that must be because of his deceased father. But, still, he has been betrayed, and now he was dead. Naruto was their light that was carrying them, despite everything, but now he was gone. But it doesn't matter, he will still stand and fight. I am with you, Konan, till the end, said Daibatsu. Later that night, Sasebo was under attack as flaming arrows were rained upon the village by the Akatsuki members. Arrows after arrows, but that wasn't what was causing chaos. As Konan fly high above the city, papers start to fall down on the city. Everyone watches the papers fall down, but then they start to glow and exploded with green flames. As Konan looked down on them, feel pain, she said, as she started to rain hellfire down on them, as cries and suffering could be heard, as people were burning, buildings were getting destroyed, as the attack was ruthless. Meanwhile that was going on, Nagato was in the council chambers, along with the others, as the Zetsus were told about Naruto's plan. Naruto was surprised that he had told them about this, but it seems like the Zetsus were told to pass it on to Nagato. As Nagato was angry, Naruto knew that he probably might die. When he met his friend in the afterlife, he was going to whack him over the head. Everyone was looking at him waiting for the explanation, so he started, telling them about the secret negotiation that Naruto had with the Katsuki and Pakura. The Sand Leader as expressed his wish to talk about the future. Naruto also used the Zetsu to send secret messages to the small village leaders, for them all to join together. At first, all of them had refused, but now that Taki and the hidden grass was being attacked, the rest of them were flocking like cowardly little sheep together, as all of the small villages were coming united to face off against the bigger threat. By the time Nagato finished his explanation, there was shock and silence in the room, as even the banks were willing to come together. With all of them together, they would be able to create stability in the world after this all was over. Lord Fort really wanted stability in our world, said Mifune. Naruto strived for a better future for our children and our children after that. He knew that the 5 great nations will oppose this because it will end their reign. He tried to talk to Konoha to avoid the bloodshed, but he lost his life in this peace treaty, said Hanzo. But now, I want that future of the Hidden Rain and the rest of this world. I believed in Uzumaki Naruto, the White Wolf, earning nods from his commanders who share the same feeling. And now, Nagato, Uzumaki share the same will. He is the young wolf, and the Hidden Rain will stand by him. Mifune joined his leader by unsheathing his own blade and raised in the air. Lord Fifth, Akainu had tears in her eyes as the entire force raised their blades, as they promised to support Nagato in his cause. We will not let your dream die, she thought to herself. No matter what, Naruto, Nagato stood firm as he accepted everything. When the cheering stopped, he looked them all in the eye. I hereby announce the formation of the Great Union. The remaining village leaders want us summoned to discuss terms. I will personally meet with the Kazekage and remind the leaders to make this a dream come true. You have my word, said Nagato. Its unwavering determination was exactly what these people need to see and hear after hearing about Naruto's death. They wanted someone to stood tall and be with them in this time of crisis. The hope started to return to their eyes. They were going to fight for a future that didn't seem so impossible now. And they had Naruto to thank for that, as he was the one that laid the foundation for this dream. And Nagato Uzumaki, Lord Fifth, was going to carry on that dream. At Konoha, he walked through the dark prison of Konoha. Never in his life he expected to visit a place like this, where the worst criminals and traitors and enemies were held. He had to control his fear as he heard many horrible cries from the lower cells. Torture. Obito Uchiha had never believed in so much torture, but he was not in control and he had to trust their leaders. His brother was dead. A few days back it might have brought him joy because that boy had sent their father to death. But instead Obito felt hollow and miserable. No matter what Naruto had done, he was still his older brother. He became the youngest Kage in history, a dream that Obito wanted as well because he wanted to become Hokage. His brother's reason for starting a war with Konoha was a bit acceptable because Konoha had betrayed his people. Obito had never blamed his brother for killing Kakashi because in truth he wanted to kill him, but Kakashi got in the way. But his father's death had made him feel very angry towards his brother, a sibling that Obito never knew. He was so angry towards Naruto for letting his father die like that. He could have stopped Minato, forced him to go back to Konoha. Orochimaru was the one that was encouraging Obito's hatred for his brother, but it had lessened. A lot of that hatred had vanished when he heard that Naruto wanted to talk to Konoha to stop this war. It had showed Obito that maybe his brother was not truly a monster. But then his brother was murdered. The entire village had rejoiced and praised Danzo for killing their sworn enemy in that dishonorable manner. But Obito had fallen to his knees for a sibling who he admired and hated at the same time. Naruto was trying to do the right thing, to put aside his hatred for peace, and they killed him. No matter his crimes, he never deserved to be slaughtered like that. He didn't deserve to be betrayed when he was trying to do the right thing. And now his brother was gone, just like his father and Kakashi. He had to know the truth. He had to know what kind of person his brother truly was. He had to know why he let father die. A guard outside, as he came to a stop, gave him a stern look. Just giving that look not to try anything funny and be wary of her. These envoys wear faceless masks and seemed to be ready to kill any moment noticed, so Obito nodded. Not that he need to fear the prisoner, as there was no lights in the cell, but the smell of sweat and blood. It hit his nose. Obito burnt fire on the small torch on the wall, and when the fire illuminated the place, what he saw horrified him. He stumbled back in shock to what he was seeing. Monsters. How could they? He ran towards her. Bruises, cuts all over her, slashes across her body. One of her hands twisted in a weird angle, blood and piss. Her battered face that looked had been pummeled in brutally. But it was those eyes, those dead and hopeless eyes. It broke him as he held her and cried. The person had been a mother to him his entire life. She had loved him, cared for him and trained him, give him gifts on birthdays. He didn't care if she betrayed Konoha, she didn't deserve this. Oh, Obi. That voice snapped him out. As he looked up, he gently touched her face. Mother, he said, I'm here. I'm here. She started to cry, thinking that Obito was just another way for them to torture her. As he held her, whispering soothing words in her ear, just holding her. Mikoto was his blood mother, and I loved him dearly. But Kushina was also like a mother to him. His blood was boiling, remembering what Danzo said when they brought her back. The traitors shall be punished severely. He hated that old bastard. Hiruzen Jiji would have never let this happen. No matter what Kushina had done, Hiruzen would have never tortured her like this after killing her son. After a long while, her crying stopped because her body could not form any more tears. She looked so weak and hungry and in need of medical treatment along with proper clothes. He brought her ramen, but the guards take it away from him before he could enter. Kushina looked at him like he was the last good thing remaining in her life. Her lover was dead, and so was her son as well. What happened, mother? He asked. She didn't know how to describe her agony in words. Jiraiya and my mother. Mikoto was trying to get you out of here. You will soon be back home, he said. But she gave him a sad look. I am never coming back home, Obi, she said. His heart shattered hearing that. She was never one to give up, never one to lose hope. I'll get you out of here, he said. No, Obi, she said. They will kill you. You're Minato's last son. I can't let you die too. Not for me, she said. I cannot let you die here. I have already lost Father Kakashi and my brother, he said. As she was surprised, Jiraiya told her that he was furious of Naruto for letting Minato die. Obi, she said. I don't know what to believe, mother. Everyone is going away and leaving me alone. I hate Danzo. He's cruel. He's nothing like Hiruzen Jiji. If father was alive. You don't hate your brother and me, asked Kushina in surprise. I am angry, but he was still my brother, and he never deserved to die like that. Kushina engulfed him in a tight hug as she kissed him on the forehead. He was so much like Minato, the both of them was. He was Naruto's brother and Minato's last son. She had to protect him. As they break the hug, he looked her in the eyes. I want to know the truth, he said. I hate him. No matter what he said, I hate him. And I know that you would never betray Konoha. I trust you, and I know you won't lie to me, mother, he said. Kushina stared at him, thinking that if Naruto hadn't grown up that way, he would have been just like Obito. But she knew that she was a dead woman, all of her hopes. Everything died the moment Orochimaru plunged that sword into her son's chest. That look on his face as he tried to save her as he held out his hand, it broke her. She had nightmares about it over and over. She had nothing left to live for. She tried many times to break free to get her revenge on these people. But Konoha was no longer taking any risk on her, and every failed attempt was another gruesome torturing for her. It was worse than worse every time, and she couldn't fight anymore. She just wanted to be with Minato and her son in the afterlife, and live the life that she never lived with them. But she could at least do one last thing. I will tell you the truth about your father, your brother, and about me, and why we did what we did. Obito activated a fully developed Sharingan, making her surprised, as he told her it was better for him to see it from her memories than make her say those words. She kissed him for his kindness on his forehead, and his desire to protect her, even in this small manner. And she gave him a nod, as he entered her mind, as the memories flow. It took a while, but he finally break the connection. She then heard weeping. Opening her eyes slowly, she see that Obito was crying. He glanced at her miserably, with so much pain in his eyes, before running out of the room, crying. As Kushina noticed his eyes, they were different. Time skip. Konan was sitting on a massive paper eagle. As she looked on the water, the entire front shore had turned red. She could smell it. This was a massacre. Blood, body everywhere. Majority of the dead were wearing the Akatsuki uniform, and they were in the thousands. The remaining hundreds were wearing the uniform of Konoha and Kiri. She steeled herself as she went towards the battered, worn-out castle, the Storm Castle. As she went down, she noticed at least 24 soldiers in the Akatsuki uniform preparing for another attack. The one that looked like an enemy commander, she threw the scroll at him. He caught the scroll and saw Naruto insignia on it. She landed her bird and marched towards the door quickly. They quickly parted, allowing her to pass. They saw the fury burning in her eyes as she kicked the door wide open, as a sword was unleashed. But she stepped forward as she looked right into Lord Arima's eyes. Where is he? She said. Arima looked at her. Konan was her name, a skilled kunoichi that was sent to Kumo as an elite force. If she was here, that means Uzumaki is part. The plan had taken effect. Follow me, he said. She followed after him as she could feel her heart beating against her chest rapidly, threatening to explode. She had seen many comrades and loved ones die, but she was terrified on seeing him if he was really dead. That idiot, naive fool. She hated what he was making her feeling as they went down the stairs, to probably see him resting, or to see him lying dead. It had taken her an entire day to travel here, and every time she was going through all kinds of calculations in her head. Her concern for his safety was the only thing keeping her sane. She massacred a city of 1,000 with hellfire. Sasebo had vanished, not a single soul had survived the blast. The magnitude for what she has done has not really sinked in yet. The only thing was driving her was she was praying that he was alive. How badly was he wounded? Will he recover? And she was praying to every god, let him live, let him live. Arima finally stopped in front of a door and carried out a series of knocks. A few seconds passed, as Konan felt like it was hours. But she was shocked when she saw Tsunade Senju open the door. Dark patches under her eyes. Her hair was a mess, and clothes that hadn't seen cleaning or ironing for a long while now. Konan brushed past the two of them and entered the room. Ghost growled viciously, as he then saw who it was, as he calmed himself. Konan saw the person she left her mission and friends behind for. The reason why she massacred thousands, the person who she would go at any length to protect. He was right there sitting in that large bed, face so pale, body covered in bandages from head to toe. His bright red hair was messy. He reeked of sweat, blood, and death. Yet it was his dead and hopeless eyes that hurt her the most. He just sit there like a ghost, staring out in the sea. If he had noticed her arrival, he didn't even turn, or even acknowledge her or say anything. He just sat there like a corpse, observing from his hollow eyes. Naruto, she said. He turned his gaze towards her, but he looked away the moment their eyes met. Leave. That single word hurt her, but she saw what was in his eyes. Shame. For this was his biggest defeat in this war. The other one was his failure to protect Uzu when he was raided by the Big Three. He had made a mistake by willingly trusting these enemies. His mother was taken, and reduced him to this corpse of a man. No, she said. He screamed at her to leave. As Tsunade and Arima, they flinched a bit, but she didn't as she stepped forward. Even Ghost looked to be healing from some serious wounds, but he stepped aside and let her pass. She looked at him. She raised her hand and slapped him across the face. He reeled back in shock and pain. She raised her hand and slapped him again, as she grabbed him by his collar, much to Arima and Tsunade protest. You were a fool, and you will accept your mistake and tragedy that brought us to this. She was not a Kano. She wouldn't have just sympathetic words for him. They were at war, and there was no going back now. Tears arrived in his eyes as he glanced at her miserably. I failed, he said. You did, she said. That is why you will get back on your feet and fight again with everything you have. You owe it to every Asian soldier here for you, she said, as her own eyes started to become moist. I can't, he said. He tried to avert his gaze in shame, but she grabbed his chin and made him look at her. You can. We are at war, Naruto. The future of our villages, our people, our future generation, it depends on what we do now. You once told me that giving Uzu and your friends a peaceful future is your legacy, while your friends are out there fighting with everything that they've got. They are in shock and pain just like you, but not one of them has abandoned your dream no matter what. They are still fighting for Lord Fort, even if they believe that he's dead. I understand the guilt you feel, and it's not a small one, but I too did horrible things in this war, things that will haunt me for the rest of my life. But I did it because it was my duty. As she knew, she massacred even the civilians, the children. They didn't want to go about things that way. They wanted to root out the enemies and take them on. But because of this, she had to take the hard way by killing them all. So children, thousands, families, they all burn. How can you follow me after the mistake I made? I couldn't even save my own mother. She placed her forehead against his. She felt so relieved to feel his burning body. Yes, she knew that he was still alive. It's because we believe in you. We share your victories and defeats. We prosper from your good ones and suffer from your bad ones as well. But despite it all, you're a leader. You're our commander and our friends. And we all promise to stand by you no matter what until you take your last breath. And even after that, we shall still stand behind you because that is our conviction and loyalty. As Tsunade and Arima watch this girl do something that they hasn't been able to do since this past week. Konan was harsh and brutal, yet her words were showing effects. Are the others still alive near to ask? Yes, she said, a small smile. And you need to pull yourself together before they do something reckless. Set aside your pain and guilt. There will be time to reflect on that after we win this war. A ghost of a smile appeared on his face. You're a hard woman, he said. as you receive a small bob on the head. And you're an honorable fool, she said. Arima couldn't believe it when Naruto laughed. He has been droning in guilty and his own pity this past week. Tsunade and Arima tried their best. They managed to save his life along with Ghost, but they could not lift his spirit. They had been sympathetic to his pain, encouraging him to get back up, but nothing worked. Until this girl came along and literally slapped some sense into his thick skull. As Konan couldn't help but form a smile on seeing the fool laugh. He was a damn fool, but her a damn fool. Time skip, Konan already wrote the messages as she gave one to Akatsuki members to send them out. As she was now with Tsunade and Arima. Tell me everything, she said. As Arima, tell her everything. As Tsunade was the one that saved Ghost from the poison of Kusanagi. Naruto's body was immune to poison because of his brutal training to be an assassin, and he was injected with all kinds of poison and antibodies. Most of his wounds are healing nicely, but his chakra system is suffering from the wound inflicted by Sakumo's sword, said Tsunade. What happened, Konan asked. That sword was made up of pure Yang chakra, and combined that with Sakumo's powerful chakra. Suffice to say, Naruto's dark chakra network is suffering from chakra poison at the moment, said Tsunade honestly. How bad, said Konan, and be honest. Please, she said the last part in a trembling voice. His body is resilient, and he is putting up a tough fight. He can survive if he follow my word to the last letter, and gives a positive attitude. As Konan released a relief nod, he will do all you ask, Lady Tsunade. Naruto can be pretty stubborn, said Arima, remembering how uncooperative the boy had been the last few days. That is because you allow him to sulk. Believe me, he carried the entire world burden on his shoulders. Sometimes you would just have to knock some sense into him. He may be weak and miserable right now, but if you allow him his own free reign, he can become his worst enemy. You seem to know a lot about him, said Tsunade. As a long, faraway look came in Konan's eyes. He and I are the same, she said. The two of them looked at her for explanation, but she said nothing. But Tsunade saw the determination in the girl's eyes. Maybe things can turn towards your victory now. Lord Arima, it will be best if you return to Uzu and take command of your village defenses, said Konan. He shook his head. My leader is here, and I cannot abandon him in this state. And I do not have a ship that can take me back to Uzu. I can provide a bird that will take you to Uzu. It's a good thing that you spread rumors about Naruto's death. It might have just saved his life, said Konan. I did my duty. I knew if the enemy had the faintest idea that he was alive, they would come back and finish him this time for real. While this move of mine saved his life, it must have sent our allies into a frenzy, said Arima. It has, but they will overcome it. But I need you back in Uzu because Konoha will send your man to burn it to the ground. Use the Akatsuki and your Uzu fighters to crush those monsters into the ground. Naruto is not fit or ready to take command for a few more days, and when he is able, I plan on focusing his direction somewhere else. Where? Both of them asked. Konan gave them a blank stare, making them know that they will have to wait for the answer. Uzu is leaderless now. Right now they need you. I would personally take care of Naruto with Tsunade's help. Right now we need to focus on the biggest picture. We have a war to win. I will take this suggestion of yours to Lord Fort. I shall only follow his command, girl, said Arima. As he walked out of the room, as Tsunade sighed as she massaged her forehead. Konan looked at her. Why did you stay? More importantly, why did you not support your village? Said Konan in a rather soft tone. I made an oath to protect Naruto, in case he was betrayed by Konoha. I kept my promise, but the only reason I did what I did was because of my sensei and his last wish, said Tsunade. The third? Said Konan. He's dead, said Tsunade. Killed by a Uzu assassin, a former comrade said to me. But I have been in Uzu, observed Naruto's soldiers, and if he had an assassin like that, there would be no need for open war. More than that, Hiruzen Sarutobi would not have been killed by some lonely assassin, said Tsunade. Then who authorized the strike? Who allied Konoha with Kiri? Asked Konan. Donzo Shimura. Konan tried to recall that name but couldn't. As Tsunade sensed that, she told her that he was a student of Tobirama Senju as well, and also partners and friends with Hiruzen back in the day. And he's also the leader of the Black Ops Underground route. Konan then reminded Tsunade of Naruto and his survivors and the mass Anbus who butchered them. Tsunade smashed her fist in the table with pure rage as it broke. She is monstrously strong, thought Konan. Tsunade raged for quite some time, cursing Danzo. Finally, when there was nothing to pummel, she approached a woman that was on the ground, sobbing a bit. As Konan laid a hand on her shoulder, Danzo is the fourth Hokage now. He's the one that authorized this strike. He teamed up with Kiri, and he's the one possibly behind Hiruzen's death. I met some of the clan heads on battlefield, and they were also not comfortable with Danzo as our leader. But he has power and the daimyo's backing, and the only one who could stop him is dead. Konan kneeled beside her and didn't remove her hand as her eyes stared into Tsunade's. I will complete my teacher's wish by bringing peace to our villages, said Tsunade. Naruto will not stop until he destroys Konoha completely, said Konan. As Tsunade grimaced, I know that and I can't stop him, but there are many peoples who oppose Danzo, and thoughts about Uzu are similar to mine. My village might get destroyed, but it's my duty to protect the few good souls, the women, the children, the old, the one that had nothing to do with this. There must always be a Senju in Konoha. Konan stared at the woman, who was probably the last Senju in the world. A direct descendant of Hoshirama and Tobirama, heir to a clan, and love in the Fire Nation. She's sheer blood with Uzu as well. I will serve Naruto Uzumaki, because he's an honorable man and my distant cousin. I could not stop my village from its falling, or protect my teacher or my leader. But no matter what, I will protect him, because he holds the key to my people's future, said Tsunade. He will butcher every people in Konoha after what your village did, Konan warned, but Tsunade shook her head. You must look towards the future, Konan. He cannot butcher the entire Land of Fire. Despite having numbers, he does not have the support to take and control the Land of Fire. It is too vast and the Fire Daimyo will continue to rebel against him. The peaceful world that he wants shall never come if he orchestrates a massacre. Then what do you propose, asked Konan. You have to remove the Fire Daimyo and his family. Destroy that system to stop future rebellions or war to break out. Naruto must promise me the life of the innocent people and the people who I deem worthy. In return, I will pledge him my loyalty and become the new lord and rule under his name. The people would never accept a foreign ruler, but they will accept me because of my family. The Land of Fire has vast resources and power, any future stability you want. And after that I will join the Uzumaki and Senju clan, so no future war will break out easily. Konan was stunned. This woman was a visionary and wanted peace and would go through great lengths to get it. And if they managed to do this, they could unite the rest of the smaller lands. I have to think about this, said Konan. Oh wait, said Tsunade, I have seen how he listened to you. Not many people do that. There's a strange understanding between you two. So you have to make him see reason. Konan nodded. She then realized something. Kushina Uzumaki is a prisoner of Konoha. After what she did, what will happen to her? They will execute her, said Tsunade. Tsunade explained that Konoha already have several candidates that could become the next Jinchuriki. They will not be as powerful as Kushina, but they will be loyal to the village to death. And even an untrained, young Jinchuriki could tear apart an entire army allowed to run free. As Konan started to sweat, realizing that if Konoha execute Kushina, Naruto's last remaining family member, Tsunade also knew what would happen if that took place. Every single man, woman and child would be put to death if Kushina is killed, said Konan. I know, he will remember and put everyone to death, said Tsunade. But there are still many good people in my village, people with honor. I have asked him to save Kushina. Who? Asked Konan. I will not reveal their name just yet, but they are powerful, honorable man and woman, and they will save her. You haven't told him because you know that he doesn't trust the people in Konoha, and if they fail to save her, he will put them all to death as well. You're playing a really dangerous game. Tsunade simply nodded. It is a risk I must take. All I want is for this war to end, and my people who I can save to be at peace. You're the only one who can do it, Konan. Save this world from destruction and more hatred, said Tsunade. As Konan got up and walked away. Later that night, Naruto was asleep as Konan was holding his hand, lying right at his bed. She was crying silently. Everything that has happened, so much war, so much death. She thought about Galtia, Hanzo, so many things, everyone that she missed back at home. We shouldn't have left, she thought to herself. As she thought about Tsunade's offer, they have to do something to end this war after what she did, massacring so many children, so many innocent people. It was tearing her apart. She didn't notice when Naruto shifted in the bed as he slowly opened his eyes. As he saw her crying, he then opened his arms She looked down at him. The only thing she could do was go in towards his warmth. As he wrapped his arms around her, as she cried right into his chest, as he held on to her. But guys, that'll be ending this episode right here. You guys can go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto Was a Uzumaki King that I post on this channel. And go ahead and check out Anime King 2. I post a new episode of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit. So go ahead and enjoy that, guys. And yeah, I'm out for now. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.